Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on when you're watching this. How's it going, guys? Before we start our read-through of the journals, I just want to wish that you're having a wonderful day out there. I hope your day is going well and hope it continues to go well. In the description box of this video will be timestamps for each journal in case you want to jump forward or backward to a particular journal. Anyway, let's get into our reading. These are the Clancy journals. 9/88/06 Moon 18. Title: Clancy's Journal. The perplexities of the Dima horizon didn't occur to me until my 9th year. It was then I began to contemplate the existential and decide what type of impression I wanted my life to make. Naturally, to fuel my hope, I looked out upon the distance the land that had cultivated me, only this time with a new awareness of the obstruction of my youth's ignorance had allowed me to overlook. Was it there the whole time? How had I not seen something so obvious? I'm reminded of this moment daily as the idealization directly collides with a unique hope for my own future. As a child, I looked upon Dima with wonder. Today, I am wrought with frustration as I spend each day squinting for a glimpse of the top of the looming wall that kept us here. It was upon my 9th year that I learned that Dima wasn't my home. The village, after all this time, was my trap. Before it became realized, I had a deep affection of Dima. There was a wonderful structure to the city that put my cares to rest. Streets and locations were dependable, and the responsibilities of the day seemed to be accomplished with minimal effort. Once a task was taught and understood, we were delighted by our ability to complete our obligations timely and felt secure in knowing tomorrow's duties would be accomplished with the same efficiency. We all worked to represent our bishop with honor, and we knew that each inhabitant of our region had a like-minded dedication to consistency. Keon's embodied the spirit of this dedication. Of Dima's 9 bishops, Keon's was revered as unwavering and forthright, possessing the ability to achieve focus that was rare for most people of our region. We all admired him and felt honored to be inhabitants of his region. While we had heard of legion of ruthlessness of other bishops, Keon's possessed a stoic demeanor unlike anyone I'd ever met, and we were all proud to serve. 01707 Moon 17. No file name provided. To refer to Dima as my home has never felt accurate. Dima to me has simply been the place that I've existed or the slot they've put me in. I've heard stories about the idea of home, and its depiction has always seemed warm from the storyteller's description. There was a romantic ownership of the place they inhabited in that I admired but could never relate to. This place, my place, however, seemed devoid of the romance and wonder that the old stories tell. But somewhere between the iron odor and the infallible precision of Dima, a hum of wonder exists. In this quiet wonder that my mind tends to get lost in, this hope of discovery alone has birthed a new version of myself, a better version. I hope that we'll find a way to experience what's beyond these colossal walls. 01807 Moon 01. File name E_SR_EVE_R.JPG. Of course, this is reverse for reverse. This is what gave the click the idea to reverse an audio that was provided within a previous moon, that moon being 01707 Moon 17. That one did not contain a journal, but this moon, 01807 Moon 01, contains a journal. This is what it reads. A lifeless light surrounds us each night. Never could I imagine something so luminous could feel so dark. It's this glow that reminds us of the dreamless existence we've been sentenced to. But what I call a sentence, others accept as normalcy. How could they so efficiently eradicate the dreams within us? When the bishops institute vitalism as a mandate, they effectively reverse the hope that many arrived with. Am I the only one who realizes that we've been lied to? Am I the only one that's not afraid of the notion that the 9 have hijacked our trust and extinguished our hope that once motivated our existence? We used to close our eyes and picture a better life, and now the city is full of dry eyes caught in this trance of obedience, devoid of any trace of identity. The only significant light I've seen has been the eyes of those smeared. Such a curious sight to see bright eyes strangled by the darkness of the bishop's hands. As penance fades, so dims their memory of something more. My hope of something more is all I have in this rigid tomb, and I will not let it die. 01807 Moon 05. File name _HE _A _VY .jpg. They're asleep. The night took forever to arrive, and now we're almost ready. We studied the Watchers and know that there's no chance we could step through unnoticed. So, instead of trying to hide ourselves, we'll make sure that all of us are noticed. It's been 1 year since the last convocation, and tomorrow's annual assemblage of Glorified will be the biggest spectacle this concrete of the city has seen all year. If we time it right, we'll divert the attention of the Watchers and finally take the step through. We've had no contact, but we're hoping that the other side will be able to find a way in. We're not sure of the breach location, but we are willing to risk being smeared in order to find it. We know that we must go lower and wait for the torches. They've never seen anything quite like this, and by morning everything will be different. I'm terrified and excited all at the same time. They don't control us. 01807 Moon 08. File name _note.gif. I've made it out. I feel weightless. I know that place has held me down, but for the first time, I can feel the beauty that I had hoped for. It's been 3 nights now, and my breathing has changed. It's slower and more full. It's like the air out here is worth taking in. I can see it back in the distance, and I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't consistently on my mind. I wish that I could turn that fear off, but maybe the further I go, the less that fear will affect me. I was betrayed by what I assumed was home. If I ever end up back there, I won't be able to look at it the same. They are asleep. They are so sure they know the truth and carry on throughout their day with the same meaningless tasks. They've forgotten to look up and to look outward to understand that it's not about in there. It's about out here. This new world surrounds me. I used to think that the walls back home were massive. These green cliffs engulf me and place me right in the middle. Trench is quiet, precarious at times, and it's easy to grow weary. But it's real and it's true, and I'd much rather endure reality than a mindless being obedient to a life that someone has created for me. I've obsessed about this world for so long that it feels like more home than anything I've experienced. Somehow, in this vast openness, I feel more protected than ever. The landscapes feel endless, and I've found myself walking for hours without any true evidence of going further. But I've seen plants and colors out here that I have not sure I've witnessed before. The beauty is the strangest places, and the curiosity of what next continues to motivate me. I wonder who else is out here. If what I assume to be true, there have got to be more like me. Sometimes I feel like a presence, or I think I've seen something in my periphery, only to look up to see nothing. It's just another thing that I'm afraid of that also excites me. It also confirms all the things that I'd hoped to be true all this time. I'm out here and I am very alive. And I'm sometimes scared, but always discovering something new. And I will not stop. Cover me. 01807 Moon 18. File name unalone.gif. I can't believe what I just saw. I'm still trying to understand. This whole time I was sure I was alone, a single soul in the vast unknown world. But a few days into this trek, I looked down to see a figurehead the same way I was. I tucked myself in these caves and crevices, trying my best to stay hidden, but he was out in the open, making his exhausting journey right down the middle of Trench. I was curious enough to follow along the path with him. He seemed unaffected by the fear of the unknown, the fear that tends to cripple me. To him, the terrain seemed familiar, as if he'd been out here before. While lost in my curiosity, they appeared. I heard about them back in Demon, but to my knowledge, the stories were merely myth. 10, 20, and then what seemed like to be 100 banditos appeared upon the cliff, all looking down at him. He only stopped for a moment to look back up at them, and then he continued on his way. His energy changed, and I wasn't sure if he was frightened or encouraged by their ominous presence. They warned him of what was about to come. It was a blur, first seeing the figure, then the banditos, only to now have my eyes open to the oncoming bishop upon a white horse drawing closer in the distance. The figure halted and waited. When the bishop stopped, I was sure he looked up directly at me, so I hid deeper back in the cave. The presence of this robed rider seemed to paralyze the man. He stood still as he was approached, powerless, and outreached hands smeared his neck. I have never seen a bishop possess power like this. Keon's had always seemed so warm and gentle. This bishop, at least out here, seemed like something else. So I ran, and I've been running for as long as my legs and lungs can handle. Maybe this note will be my proof that what I witnessed was not a dream. A million questions raced through my mind. Am I not the only one traveling through Trench? I'll travel a little further, and maybe I'll get a moment's rest tonight. I may have made a mistake leaving. The spot between two places is the beginning to feel like an endless, hopeless abyss. At least Dima is a place that I know, and at times like this, I miss a lot about what I know. This will be much tougher than I imagined. Nothing is out here is familiar. I've witnessed the presence of others for the first time today, and I feel more alone than ever. Cover me. 01901, Moon 22, Clancy's final journal. File name 17-35.4527.jpg. I can't face this page for long enough to write what I'm truly feeling. I'm only wrought with more questions about what I assume to be true, questions about what my own path is, and the question that has been plagued my mind ever since I lie back here in the city. Did I give up? The force I saw between him and his bishop seemed to be tense to me and frightening, but the memory of that exchange has had time to fester and replay in my mind long enough that I'm questioning if I am remembering it correctly. I assumed that the bishop was forcefully retrieving his subject, but now I wonder if the bishop was actually trying to save him and he refused. I stayed out there for 5 days after I watched what happened. I haven't seen him since. Maybe he got away, and maybe he's still out there with me. Maybe the bishop chased him down and brought him home. Home? Did I just call this place home? After the endless beauty I saw out there, I am now convincing myself that I'm actually better within these confines, and I admit it. It was more difficult than I expected. Nothing could have prepared me for how much unknown can consume me. Vast landscapes and endless possibilities, yet coupled with endless danger. I became anxious, I became tired, I became hungry. Every step I took became harder than the last, jumping from jagged rocky step to step or pulling myself through a thick forest. It all became debilitating, and I was sure I couldn't go on. Keon's approached me as the sun rose one morning. I wasn't scared, I was relieved. After all that he had taught me, his presence was the most comforting moment that I've had in days, and I couldn't help but be happy to see him. In true Keon's fashion, he wrapped his arms around me, then put his hands under my face, looked into my eyes, and said, "Clancy, child, let's go home." I've been here for a few weeks now, and while the routines of this world are comforting and certainly easier than life out there, my mind keeps bouncing between the two places. Which one is my home? Are the bishops protecting us and the torches upon the hilltops dangerous, or is it the other way around? My dreams pull me from world to world, and I feel lost between all of it. There's still so much I do not understand. Clancy. As we know, these files were uploaded to dimaorg.info, and on April 2nd, all the files got deleted off of the site. Now, you can still find these files and everything that was uploaded onto dimaorg.info by going to 21pilots.fandom.com/wiki/dimaorg.info. There will be a link in the description box below, and I really hope you enjoyed the reading of Clancy's journals. Goodbye, and good night.